Tomorrow evening, the annual event will be held, the junior-senior prom. I don't want to see anybody on this campus, period, unless you are invited, unless you are a junior or a senior. This is not your night. It is not made for you. It is not meant for you. It was not planned for you. When you get to be a junior or senior, then you will be able to participate in this program unless you're a married student. And if you are, then you will not be invited. This is for juniors and seniors who wish to attend, and their invited guests. I want you to get this straight. I am talking to the juniors and seniors now. From 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, the doors will be open. They'll be open until 8 for parents who wish to come and take a picture or two and see what the juniors have accomplished. At 8 o'clock, we're asking you to ask them to please leave. The doors will be closed. It is a closed affair. We want them to be able to come and pay a short visit, their parents or brothers or sisters, someone in the family, maybe your grandparents. Sometimes you want to bring those people, and that's perfectly all right. We hope they will honor that hour and respect that hour as a visitation hour, and that when it is over, they will very kindly and politely decide to leave. It is your prom. It is for you. It is under strict school supervision. And as long as it is, I expect it will remain this way. I repeat again that only a few people around here can really realize what it was like a few years ago. So unpleasant in some respects that I do not care to mention it or to remember it. And it dealt primarily with people who just roamed around all over the place at will, wherever they wanted to go. I hope all of you understand this. All the 8th graders, the freshmen, and the sophomores. I don't want to see you around this campus. Don't want you on the campus. You don't have any business here. And just don't be here, period. There'll be no intermission parties. I'd heard a little rumor that somebody was going to give an intermission party. Well, that's all right. If they want to give an intermission party, that's perfectly all right with me. If you want to leave the prom and not come back, you can go to intermission party. But when you walk out that front door, that's it. So you better think to bring all of your cameras and your light bulbs and this, that, and the other. We'll not be passing in and out at will. That is it. Some of the juniors are very quite surprised. I've been hearing some of the things they've been wondering about, and some of them look real shocked. I would call a name or two, and if I did, it'd bring down the house. What? You mean we not allowed to do this? He was supposed to be here last year, and he was here, and he listened, I assume. But if you knew the individual, you'd understand. So if you want to have an intermission party, that's perfectly all right. I can tell you that the majority of people always stay until 11, 11:30, going on 12 o'clock before, I don't suppose we've had over 5 or 6 couples to leave prior to that time. Or maybe a few singles who wanted to leave prior to that time. Most of them remain until the prom ends. And that's the way I want it, and that's the way I'm going to have it. Now, I hope I've covered everything. The people hanging around here, we don't want it. The visitation hour, when it's to be held. And rules and regulations, which we're going to follow as far as your attendance of the prom. If you come, you want to leave, all right, you leave. And when you leave, you stay gone. Can any of you senior sponsors or junior sponsors think of something that needs to be said that I have not said. I'm going to keep the boys here of the junior and senior group. The rest of the people will be excused whenever I give you the word. And Travis Brown, I want to see you before you leave today. Just dawned on me that when I want to see someone, I want to see them. That doesn't mean that he is a culprit. I just want to see them, that's all. So there's no need to turn it into fun and games, you know, necessarily. Ricky, will you give me some lights back here? Any of you sponsors think of anything that we need to mention? 8th graders? Are all of you loud and clear? Have you received this message? Do you know what I'm talking about? Freshmen? Sophomores? I see some senior heads shaking. They didn't understand it, they said. Well, that's the way it goes. All right. All of you are excused with the exception of the junior and senior boys. All right, we have one more group who will need to go to classes. May I see the hands of those boys who, for one reason or another, do not plan to attend the prom? May I see your hands, please? All right, you're excused to go to classes. And be sure that you are not coming to the prom. Be sure that you are not. You mean none of you people are coming to the prom? Man, I tell you, some of these people can't swing like some bachelors I know. I wouldn't miss it. Well, I cut it down considerably. That's right. All right. Now, that takes care of a multitude of people there. Cuts it down a little bit. Now, Chris Winslow was the one that was so shocked that he couldn't sit in and smoke around all that good paper and everything like that. He was the one that was so shocked about it, you know. You mean we can't do the song? Now, don't tell me that Chris Winslow was that dumb. He wasn't. And he isn't. Where is Chris? Where is he? Not here at all? Had too much prom last night. I want to commend this group of, I should have commended the girls before they left too, and particularly the sponsors who have handled this program of building that up to date, and I underscore that statement, there's been very little confusion in building this prom as far as confusion in the school day, within the school day. Well, I told Chris that if you wanted to smoke, you'd be coming back in this back hall, and if it's nice, you'll have a nice sweat worked up anyway, and you'll want to get out there and cool off and smoke a cigarette. If I danced or smoked, I'd be glad to go out there with you, and since I don't, well then, I guess I'll just have to unlock it and go out there. I don't understand those laughs out there. It seem very dirty to me. I don't, for some reason. But that's the way we'll do it. No, you don't light up your Tipperillo in there on seat number 14. Nobody wants to smell it. Nobody needs it. And if you do need it, there'll be plenty of intermissions. I guarantee you the Marauders won't be any different from anybody else. They work under union contract, no doubt, and they'll be taking plenty of intermissions every hour on the hour. All of them do, so I don't assume they're any different, Bill. And that's fine. That's all right. Now, I have emphasized this one fact over and over and over. There are 2 or 3 different groups of people who will fall into this category. I have my names for them, but I won't give them at this time. There are those to whom I'm speaking, and this will never be a problem. There are those to whom I'm speaking, it may be a problem, but it won't be a problem at the prom. And there are those to whom I'm speaking, if they could get away with it, would like to come about half soaked. And I'm warning you people, don't you play around with this situation. I'm giving you fair warning. And I'm serious. Don't you try to pull the wool over my eyes. Somebody did last year. I'm still looking. Maybe some of you seniors sitting right out here looking at me. They brought it in last year. It couldn't be the juniors. Travis. Because you were not here. And none of the juniors were here. Adams wasn't here. I mean, I just happened to look around and think of that. Byers wasn't here. I know my juniors fairly well, too. How many of you people have ever heard me make one comment about after 12 o'clock? How many people have ever heard me call names? None of you. How many people have heard of me driving around town with an extra pair of seal beam glasses on, trying to find out what I can find or see what I can see? How many people? Now, I'm coming to one party this year. Might give you fair warning. But I can say this. I'm coming to that party because I'm invited, and I am not coming as a censor. I'm not recommending anything but one thing, and that is that you treat me like a gentleman, and you treat our effort here like a gentleman. And that goes till 12 o'clock. Many of you will be likewise after that. Some of you may be, but you may be a little stupid. Or a little stooped, I should say. Steeped, would that be a better word? Soaked. I could not stand up and recommend something like that to you. I couldn't. But I can ask you to be a decent individual. I can ask you not to try to pull the wool over somebody's eyes. I've seen you come in. I've seen some of them come in since we've had this closed situation and since we had any situation. And their eyes would be as shiny as one of those 75-watt light bulbs. But they would be up and going, and they thought, poor stupid individuals, that no one would ever know because of sin, or something, that they'd chucked in their mouth before they came, or, as the advertisement goes, Mosley, it leaves you breathless. It may leave you breathless, but you sure don't look breathless. I'm just telling you to be decent, and I'm asking you to be decent in as nice a way as I know how. I think you owe me that. I think you owe the school that. I think you owe the sponsors that. I think you owe yourselves that. If I went around trying to find out everywhere you went and who you dated and what you did and this, that, and the other, then I might expect somebody to come back and say, well, I'll get even with him one way or another even before it starts. I don't expect that because I'm not that kind of an individual. And I think all of you who will give me credit for it will agree to it. And I'm telling you, it just takes one individual to create some kind of effort on their part to mess up the whole work. Just one, because it gets all over town, and then it's horrible, and it's this, that, and the other. Of course, we have enough people who are opposed to it as it is, and that's their privilege and their right. They're opposed to it for religious reasons. They're opposed to it for different reasons. That has to be their right. I can't deny them that, and you can't either. But as long as we're sponsoring it, we want to come and have a decent, sober, good time. And I have seen very few people, as I've said before, leave the prom very early. They've always enjoyed themselves. And I hope you people will do the same. The juniors are working hard just like the seniors did last year, and they'll come up with a nice prom just like they have always in the past. And I think that you people, if it's one thing that I'm asking you to do as a personal favor to me, just the one or two or three or four or five who may be thinking of something, I hope for my sake that you'll be a gentleman. And I'm asking you in as nice a way as I know how to be so. And it certainly will then keep me as much of a gentleman as I can be. And when intermission comes and you want to go out and smoke a cigarette, you want to cool off, I'll be there, someone will be there right here at the back doors, and you'll go out. But we're not having people running in and out of this place ever again as long as I'm principal here. Never again will we have it. I've nursed drunks and this and that and the other around in the dark alleyways and the back corners. All I'm going to. And I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it anymore. I've had it. And I mean I've had it up to here. And I'm not going to have it. Every time since we have had this as a closed situation, the kids have said, well, this must be better from what I've heard about it, and it is. It's 100 times better than what it was. So if you people are planning on pulling a boo-boo, don't be surprised if you get boo-booed. Don't be surprised. And don't come back with any back talk. Don't just, if you come to this prom, you come like a gentleman. And you respect me in that way, in that manner and in that way. I'll appreciate it. And I think your parents would appreciate it. I know the faculty would appreciate it. I believe your sponsors particularly would appreciate it. And maybe your dates. All right, you're free to go to class.